We purchased the property from the Chrysler Corporation with the idea in mind of putting a township administration building in. We were operating out of Cheviot Avenue, and it was an old building and it was in needed repair, and this is really about the center of the township, so we thought this would be a good focal location, good focal point for the township operations. So we decided to purchase this and renovate this, and it became the administration building. We got renovated and moved in, the question came up of what to do with the park next door, or the property, the old Dent Drive-In. So we decided to develop it for a park. And we asked the Hamilton County Park District for some plans and some ideas. They gave us about 3 or 4 different kinds of plans. We had a very active Parks Committee at that time, 10 to 12 people, and they looked at all the plans. The Parks Committee reviewed everything, and it decided on recommending a plan to the trustees. And I was served on that committee. We stayed together about 11 years. So we, after they chose a plan they thought was appropriate, we went through the process. The township adopted it, put it up for bid, and the construction company, the engineering company that got the bid, started on it. And then we came up with the idea through the Parks Committee of putting a Veterans Plaza in, and a brick plaza. And so we all sold bricks and put the brick plaza in. And at that time, the best plan included 2 soccer fields, a baseball field in the middle, and this is pretty much the original plan. We have a very active Veterans Association here. The Green Township Veterans of Foreign War 10380 works with us on many occasions, makes contributions for park purposes, and works with us in the summer concerts. And so they're very active in making sure all of the flags are up to date, and the donations from the flags that go up every 30 days or so are donated. The local congressmen, the 1st District congressmen, are very active in giving us flags that's flown over the Capitol. Not only have they been recognized and used elsewhere in memory of folks and wars, but that it's a very windy, most of the time it's windy up there, and the wind pretty much takes care of them too. The tank came in several years ago. Forrest Herbert, or Fats Herbert as he's known as.
And we come up with the idea that we would like to have an Army tank, something that couldn't be moved too easily, and something that everybody had an interest in, more or less. And so we proceeded with the paperwork, and the summation of it all was that we applied for a tank through the vehicle allotment authorities in Warren, Michigan. I told them I'd like to have a tank. I wanted a Sherman, but the Shermans are hard to find because they're so old. Most of them have been shot up for target practice. So we got the next best thing with this M60 tank. This tank weighs roughly around 55 ton. I think this one weighed out 109,600 or some pounds. But it didn't take us too long to get it, but it took us a long time to find somebody with a truck big enough to haul it up here. We were allocated this on a permanent loan basis from Fort Knox, but the transportation was up to us. We tried to get the Ohio National Guard to move it for us, but they had no vehicle that heavy. The Kentucky National Guard had a vehicle heavy enough, but for political reasons they wouldn't move it for us. And so in the wind-up we went to a private contractor and set up all the necessary papers and road permits and so forth. And we went down and at the assigned date and picked it up on a 7-axle semi-trailer. And even at that was just about at its limit. I think the gross weight on 7 axles was 140,000 pounds, and we had 109, so we didn't have too much weight-wise. Width-wise, we had to get a special permit because it was extended over the bed of the trailer.
So on one very beautiful, beautiful sunshiny day, they came up from Fort Knox on 71 with a flatbed truck in this tank and rolled it off on Harrison Avenue and rolled it into place. The township provided the pad and the fencing and stuff around it. And that's how the tank evolved. The major efforts were through Forrest Herbert, because he had many, many working hours as a civilian in the Army, with the Army, and he had that connection and got the tank in.